kind of response did Lenin and Trotsky get for this programme? Did they gain support?
Yeah, basically, yes. I mean, if you look at the services point of view, he does place a huge amount of emphasis on. He kind of praises Trotsky for being a great orator, saying he was able to manipulate people, to fool people into his believing in his policies. But in reality, if you look at the growth of the Bolshevik Party, like I said earlier, the Bolshevik Party had about 10,000 members in February 1917. By October 1917, only a few months later, they had a membership of between 250,000 and 300,000 members. So what that means is that over 90% of the membership of the Bolshevik Party at the time of the revolution, which was made up overwhelmingly again of workers, was made up of ordinary people who joined the Bolshevik Party only a few months before, in a lot of cases only a few weeks before. And so in reality, it's not a question of saying only Trotsky by dint of his genius, or Lenin by dint of his brutality and determination that fooled millions of people. In reality, this was a hugely democratic process. Trotsky himself, as service acknowledges, he says so in his book, was a great speaker. He himself spoke to dozens of meetings, I mean, we don't know, perhaps even hundreds of meetings, in the months leading up to the October Revolution. He must have spoken to hundreds of thousands of people. But that's not the final story, which service looking at just the individual cases doesn't realise. The basic fact is that people like Trotsky and Lenin could not have addressed hundreds of thousands of people if, in the first place, hundreds of thousands of people had not actually gone on strike, gone onto the streets, confronted the regime and overthrown it, because Trotsky was in exile in New York. He didn't want to be in New York, on the other side of the Atlantic. He'd been kicked out of Europe by the French Secret Service, who kicked him initially out of France. Lenin was in Switzerland,